Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Art of Life podcast. I am Kanika, I'm your host, and today we are going to talk about the Sacral Chakra, or the second energy center in our bodies. Now, I did another episode on this earlier, but I got so many comments and questions. People wanted to understand it more. So I thought this was absolutely worthwhile, especially Sacral Chakra can be a place where a lot of us can be blocked. So it's really good to understand it a lot better. The root chakra is a foundational chakra, which means this is the place where you really identify yourself, you understand who you are and so on. Then second chakra builds up from that foundational space. Second chakra is a very relational chakra. Second chakra is where you start understanding your relationships with everyone and then figure out, oh, this is how I am within this bigger picture, within the world. So whether this is when you're growing up in your household, whether this is understanding your relationships with your mom and dad, within the immediate family, and then as you keep growing, you go to school, so you understand your relationships within the school, with your teachers, with your classmates, and so on. And then as you grow up, it goes down within your workspace, understanding, oh, this is how I'm appreciated in the workplace, and then building onto your relationships, your personal relationships, and understanding love from that perspective. So all your body chakras are very much around experiences in the body, and so is the sacral chakra as well, right? Very much around experiencing relationships from that perspective. But all your body chakras, their lesson or encouragement to you is also to really come back to you and to operate from your own center. So while you experience all your emotions with the outside world, with whatever significant relationships they are, while you experience your emotions with them, it's really coming back and then being able to operate from your own sense of alignment. So all your significant relationships are pre-thought of, pre-planned before you come on earth. You choose your mom and dad for a particular reason because there's something that you want to learn from them. Similar way, you have agreements in place with your significant partners, with your significant friends, with your significant teachers, and so on. All the significant people that you are going to have in your life, you have an agenda, so to say, because there is a particular evolution that you want to have on earth. So you have predetermined that this is what I want to learn. Now, if you've done your lesson, then you might not need that lesson in your relationship, right? But if you really need that, then these people are there basically to help you with your evolution. So even places where you feel like, this wasn't a great experience at all, my ex was horrible, and so on, understand that all of these relationships happened because you needed them at a soul level to evolve and grow. So in that sense, all of these relationships, they are there to help you. Now, whether you feel emotional with them, whether you feel a sense of lack with them, whether you feel joyous with them, all of that is just part of the package. But yes, in the body, it definitely can feel a lot heavy sometimes, which is why a lot of humankind is actually stuck in the second chakra. Even if you considered people around you, you would see a lot of the challenges are around the relationship space, whether that's parenting, whether that is your own parents, whether that is your relationship with your friends or with your loved ones, your significant relationships with a partner. That is where most of the humankind has troubles or challenges. This is where a lot of us are working through, right? Now, to understand this chakra more, consider the element that this chakra has, and that's water. So think of a stream of water, and as a stream of water comes down from a mountain, the sediments are at the bottom of the stream, and so the water as it comes down from the mountain, even when it's just starting, when it has a lot of force, that water seems very clear and pure. And in fact, in a lot of places, there are people who worship that mountain, or they will worship that river, the stream, and so on as well. But take the same water and contain it in some place with that same force, contain it in a little area. And immediately what starts happening is that water, because now it's not very separated from the sediments of the rock and the sand there, it starts mixing with that, and that same water starts looking a lot muddier. It's the same thing that happens in your sacral chakra. Your emotions that you feel with your mom, dad, your lover, your children, they're all supposed to flow like water and then go. But we are often not able to process them as much at a human level, and so it just starts getting very muddy and foggy and so on. Now, for all the other things to go and happen in the human body, it starts from the base up, right? Base was the root chakra, that needs to feel great. Then your second chakra needs to feel great. But often what happens is that in the second chakra, with all the sogginess or the containment, the heaviness of the water, we all are not able to drain that heaviness out. Now, if your root chakra, if your foundation is not great, then that creation doesn't happen. But most importantly, if that doesn't happen at the sacral chakra, the water can just overtake everything else. Like if you have a lot of water, fire cannot sustain over it. You can't really contain it, right? Like if it gets very soggy, if it's just not draining that water starts smelling. That water is just not good for creation, right? So the first and foremost, what we need to do anyway is just release the heavy waters that are holding us. Now, the emotion that we hold here, water is emotions. The emotion that we hold here can span the whole emotional frame. So they can go all the way from apathy, sadness, so on, and go all the way up to joy and amusement and enlightenment, etc. But the way to release that water would be literally imagining that in a meditation space and letting all of that soggy water go away. So what you could do is imagine that your second chakra, which is just below your belly button, just imagine that whole area is connected right to the center of the earth. The center of the earth is the heart of Gaia. This is where she holds a lot of love for you, and she's actually wanting to really give you a nice big healing. Just imagine that connection with her and allow her to take off all the stress and worries from your space. When you do that, you're really able to release that heaviness of the water. If you wanted to practice this more, because I've just really explained it, I haven't done a proper meditation here. But if you wanted to really do this in a lot more sustainable way and be supported in that process, you are welcome to join my Moon Meditation Circle. It is a sacred healing circle where we get together bi-weekly and then we all cleanse whatever is holding us stuck in our lives and create a space of manifesting to bring in all the good things and desires. At the moment, I'm offering a free 30-day trial, so you're welcome to check it out at artoflifecenter.com/moon. That is center with a CENTER. So just go ahead to artoflifecenter.com/moon, and there you can just pop in for the free trial, and you'll get to experience the goodness of being able to release and create more abundance in your life. So that's one thing that you can do. The second thing that you can do is within your meditation space again, just imagine having this water and just really cleaning the water. So this is very soggy water. Imagine draining it out and then bringing a fresh new bucket in. Your sacral chakra has emotions or memories from all the people that you are interacting with, especially all the key people in your life. And the funny thing is, it's not even just this lifetime, it is lifetimes even beyond that. So whatever your ancestors thought, your whole family legacy, they're all within the sacral chakra. Whatever kids you've had, kids you've lost, people you've lost, they are all stored in the sacral chakra. So it's very vital to clean the sacral chakra out. And one technique I've given you definitely is just grounding and connecting your sacral chakra with the center of the earth. The other thing that you can imagine, this is water space, right? So all your reproductive organs, they really store a lot of this energy, obviously. So just imagine them as sponges and then squeeze them out. So let them clean out a lot of the stuff that they are carrying, and then imagine replenishing this with pure gold water. So then you get pure gold energy back there, and that is your highest alignment energy. And that should help you feel a lot of relief. Now, a lot of times in general, why we are really feeling stuck is because we are trying to operate from the outside inside. And what I mean by that is that we look at what are people wanting out of us, what is our family wanting out of us, what is society wanting out of us, what is company wanting out of us, what is someone else wanting out of us, and then we try and operate with that dial. But that's a big problem. Because you come into the world with your own life lessons, with your own evolution, what you want to do. So you have an inner compass here. But if you operate it from someone else's compass, and even if they're really good or if they're well-meaning, there's still chances that their compass and your compass is not going to align because they have a different body. They just have a very different agenda. They have a very different way of thinking. So it's not going to align with yours, right? And hence, when you operate with an outside compass, you're not going to experience peace inside. The only way to experience inner peace is to operate with your inner compass, with your inner alignment. And that's what your sacral chakra is asking you to do, coming back to your own emotions and how are you feeling. Meditate and really go down to the bottom of why are you feeling bad, why are you feeling any guilt, any shame, all the heavy emotions that can be here, but really boil down to why you feeling that. And the more you go to yourself, you realize that there's nothing in life that's actually happening without your divine agreement. Now, sorry if that doesn't sound very pleasing to hear on the first go, but you are a soul that has taken shape on earth. First and foremost, you are that soul. And there's nothing that happens in your life without that agreement. There's nothing that happens without somewhere an agreement being there that you wanted to undergo that lesson. And hence, whatever happens with your agreement. Now, you might not know it at a body level and you might still feel not great at a body level, and that's absolutely okay, which is why you sit down and you ground those emotions and you start feeling a lot better. Maybe also check all of this in another way. Think of your inner talk. Think of your self-talk and how do you talk to yourself? You know, if you are feeling guilty, if you are feeling grief about something, if you're feeling shame about something, okay, let that come out and then listen to that voice. Is that you? Or is that your mom? Is that your teacher? Is that your dad? Is that someone who you really loved? Chances are you will find that your inner voice is not your inner voice. It is someone else's judgment, someone else's perception coming through to you. But don't be disheartened with that insight, because this is a really good step. Now that you know this, now you can really work through this. Now you can really go to yourself and you can go, okay, this is how I want my message to be. So maybe you feel grief about something, you lost something. Just go to, okay, what is the lesson that you can get from this place? And then talk to yourself, build that self-talk model for yourself where you talk to yourself a lot more compassionately and rearrange your self-talk, rewrite your self-talk to yourself, rewrite that voice to yourself. The element here is water, and let's talk about water again. We looked at the muddy water, we looked at how yucky it can make you feel inside. So now let's look at just purifying the water and what can that do? So once you've started meditating, once you've started grounding, once you've really started changing your inner voice, you'll notice that your water is getting a lot clearer. But first, within your body, you don't need to hold as much water because if there's just too much water, then a lot of creation can't happen. So think of the first chakra, the element was earth, right? But if earth just has a lot of water, you cannot really have very sustaining plantation on that. Yes, there's some plants like rice which need a lot of water, but not a whole lot of growth, needs as much water, needs as much emotions to it. So there should just be a very good drainage system. And that would mean that just let a lot of your water flow, let a lot of the emotions flow. Females actually have a very good way. They have their monthly cycles that come, and that's nature's way. If you have a female body, that's a very good way for you to tap in. Every time you have your period, one of your intention can be that, oh, let me release any of the stress, anxiety, and stuff that I'm holding within me, and let me just release that. If you are a male, you can still have that intention, and yes, you wouldn't have period, but you can just ground. You can sit down, meditate, or you can go on a walk, whatever works for you. Just start asking for guidance on how can you let those heavier emotions go, especially if there are automatic thoughts where you feel that you keep coming back to, their automatic worries that you cannot seem to get away from. Then ask for guidance from the universe and go, hey, how do I do this? And definitely, if you feel like you are really ready to take the next step, check out my moon meditation circle at artoflifecenter.com/moon. With water, you want to work with that water energy. You really want it to flow, and then you really want it to be nice and clean before you can start creating something. And that brings me to the juice of the sacral chakra. A lot of times, sacral chakra can just be thought of as that chakra around emotions and sexuality, and it is that. But sexuality itself is, again, it is very limited in the definition, right? Like we think of it as just the act. But sexuality is a whole lot of creation. Like life wouldn't happen without that. And this is that sacred space. Sacral chakra is the sacred space for your creativity. Whatever it is you want to create, that passion, that energy, that very self-sustaining, nurturing flow is that sacral chakra. It is immensely powerful in your creativity, whatever you want to create. Once you've let go of the heavy emotions, then there's clear water. Just like water is very essential for life, water is very essential for your creation in your life form as well. Whatever you came out to create, once you're able to settle your emotions, the emotion that will come up are the much higher level emotions, and they are the ones that really help you tap into your creativity. Whether you wanted to write a book, whether you wanted to set up a new business, all of that stems from your sacral chakra. So it's very important to ground your sacral chakra. It's very important to clean this whole area, clean, heal this whole area. And it's also very important to use the creative energy here. There's a lot of creative force that you have within the sacral chakra. And when you start really aligning your energy, then this creative force starts flowing through you. It goes into your throat, it goes into your third chakra, which is very much your inner sun. This is your center of doing, of bringing things into physical form. It goes into your hands as well, so you can start writing and so on. But that's how your creative force starts flowing. And that's one of the exercises that you can do when you are visualizing as well. Imagining your creative force from your sacral chakra flowing up into your throat, flowing up into your hands and your hand chakras, definitely flowing up into your third. Imagining that flow happening, because that's how you start creating things in your world. This is really that creative juice. This is the fun of having a very balanced sacral chakra, your ability to create. Actually, if you're feeling a lack of motivation, that means somewhere that your emotions are stuck. Just go ahead, ground those. And if you are wanting to really supercharge your motivation, there's a new project that you want to do. For that, just start fueling up your creativity. The creativity here in the sacral chakra is life force. Whether you are a man or a woman, this is where life is born from. So think of this force and think of what you can do if you just started channeling this life force and really bringing it throughout your own body and really having it flow everywhere. Whatever you wanted to create stems from this space. This is not just for sex. It is a lot more around creation. It's around just forming the whole human experience around you however you want. This is a very, very powerful energy. So what you can do in a meditation space for this is just imagine that first spend time, clear out your muddy water, whatever heavy emotions that you feel here, take that out. And then imagine that when you've got the water which is really clear, imagine that traveling up everywhere in your body and giving it life, because that truly is what it is. It is life force. Do that. The last thing that I would just talk about a sacral chakra before I wrap this up is it is a very relational chakra. So there are a lot of people, those memories that we have stored up here, memories from our ancestors, just family programming that runs across generations and generations, some vows, some agreements that we have made consciously, unconsciously, sometimes like lifetimes ago. They all stay in this chakra. So when you are cleaning the sacral chakra out, when you are meditating, it's important to let go of those vows and agreements and just set your intent that you let go of any vows, agreements that are not serving you. Because you have free will. You are on a free will planet. So I hope that gives you a good understanding about the sacral chakra. If you have further questions, please reach out to me. I will have a link in the show notes, and do leave a review as well. That definitely helps more people find the show. Thanks a lot for your time. I really appreciate you listening and coming back to me with questions. Lots and lots of love. I wish you the best. Take care. See you soon.